The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome back to the Working Artist Project. As usual, it's me, Darrian Douglas, the best host, and here comes Gregory. Greg, you know I never lost, so that means you're the second best host, man. Thanks. I got something for that. I got something for that. Go ahead.
I second that. You can be the best host. That's fine. But I'll say I'm the best co-host.
Okay, all right. You're the best co-host. You're the best co-host I ever had. I'm good, man. I'm very energetic tonight because you know why. My mama is still here, and I ain't got no baby for 7 days straight.
I have two things we need to bring up before we bring our guest on this evening. But first of all, I know parenting is real because I went to drop my saxophone off at the my repairman's house, and he recently had a baby, or his wife had a baby about 2 months ago. And I've never seen anyone with the look in their eye like this gentleman did, except for you. You had that look on your eye for the last 9 months.
Oh man.
And I was like, oh, I get it. Having a baby is really, really tough.
That shit it's hard, man. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you really want it, man. I saw a picture of myself from when she was like 1 month old. And I swear I was a complete zombie, dude. It's out. It's crazy.
It's pretty insane. So I gotta, commend all the parents out there that, hey, thanks to my parents, thanks to Darrian's parents,
hey.
That was rough, man. Y'all really can't believe you really did it.
Hey man, we'll talk about this later, but I was a handful, as you can imagine, as a kid.
Yeah. But I want to apologize for being late tonight. Tonight was my last Monday at school.
Hey,
and man, you remember being in school, Darrian, how you'd be like so excited that school was over?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, nobody is more excited than the teachers. If you thought you were looking for summer break, let me tell you, I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, congratulations, man. You made it another year. And we made it another year. And here we are at episode, I think, 104. If my math is correct, it could be wrong, but I think that's where we are. And we do have some public service announcements like we do every week. I think the most important thing we need people to do, all the thousands of you who are listening to this, man, y'all need to go sign up for this newsletter because every week, Greg we give you a $1,003,000 idea of how to do something like, I don't know. I don't even remember what we said last week or the week before that, but it was great. Whatever we said.
It was like talking about altered dominance on a seventh chord.
That is not what we talk about. I can guarantee you we're not going to ever talk about none of that kind of stuff. But go sign up for the newsletter at secondlinearts.org and you'll see and hit that. Give us all your information. And yeah, we have a summer camp, but it's full, so we're not even going to talk about that. Better luck next year, y'all.
But it's going to be killing, and I'm looking forward to it. I actually signed up for a couple classes. I'm really excited about the music production class.
Hey, yeah, me too. I saw that I saw Bria's commercial, and I was like, damn, I want to take her class too.
Yeah, I'm going to be a killing band leader one day.
Right?
My apologies to the bands I've led in the past.
Band leaders. Speaking of killing band leaders, we have one here with us tonight, Martina DaSilva, and she is definitely phenomenal, bro. And this is the thing. She's a rare breed because she's a true New Yorker. Can you believe that? I think so far out of all the people we've had on the show, we maybe had three. She's a third true New Yorker, born and raised.
What borough?
I can't remember, but we're going to find out in just a second. Martina, you there?
I'm here.
Hey.
Hi.
What's going on? Welcome to the Working Artist Project.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Manhattan, where I live and where I grew up.
So you're from Manhattan?
I'm from Manhattan, downtown Manhattan.
Wow. How old were you when you first got on the subway by yourself?
That's hard to say. I know. So when I was 14, when I started high school, that's when I had to start taking the subway to school every day. So I was definitely taking it, yeah, at age 14. But I started walking around by myself when I was 10.
Wow, that's crazy. I think Morgan, what's Morgan's last name?
Stewart.
Stewart. That's right. You know Morgan Stewart, Martina?
You also
don't.
went to LaGuardia, right,
I
Martina?
went to LaGuardia. Yeah.
So, but
She
I
went.
think you're maybe a couple of years after Morgan. I think Morgan's
Okay.
'05.
Oh, I
That,
was 09.
see. That's a real country question. Me and Greg country, so we know everything. Like
So you had
Jimmy.
more. So I know you had Michaela on the podcast, and then that's the other New Yorker you had.
Yeah, Morgan
Cool.
Stewart. Yeah, but she lives in New Orleans now. So,
Oh, cool.
but yeah. All right, let's get right into it. You got to tell us everything about you. Like, I kind of I want to know about your musical beginnings, and I kind of want to know because you're a Brazilian American, and I want to know like the influence that it's had on your music.
Sure. So I I've been singing, as long as I can remember. When I was younger, I was really into the Beatles and, bands like Cream and Blind Faith and folk music and musical theater, because that's where I started performing, like doing the plays at school. And and then when I was 14, I started at LaGuardia High School, and that's where I was first exposed to classical music, which I fell in love with. So, yeah, I guess, I didn't really have a private teacher until college, but I got a lot of instruction there. We had 3 music classes a day. We learned to sing in Italian and German and French. And so that definitely has had a huge influence on my life. And then when I was a senior in high school, I started singing jazz, and I haven't gone back. And yeah, as far as the Brazilian musical influence, I I started really singing Brazilian music when I got into jazz, and I was just trying to learn as much as I could, and I realized that that was a nice advantage, being, speaking Portuguese. And
Right.
yeah. And but yeah, I think, it's hard to say how it's influenced me. I think as a vocalist, the phrasing of all Brazilian vocalists, which is very, kind of floaty, rhythmic, but extremely floaty, I think has had a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think that's a result of like the language, like the way the Portuguese language flows is like has a big impact on like again like the music itself, or do you feel like that's like a quality that also exists in jazz?
Oh, I mean, I think the language, like just the cadences that, Brazilians use within one sentence, I think that has a lot to do with, I'm sure that has informed like the way songs have been written and the way they're sung. I think like when you compare, so a singer that I've worked with a lot is Vanessa Perea. She's a
Yeah.
incredible jazz singer. She's Cuban Colombian, and we've sung together a lot. I have this band, the Ladybugs, so it's it's the two of us, and it's really interesting to see how our second languages have informed our singing so much. And I think because Spanish is is very very rhythmic, kind of. I think there's some harsher consonants in Spanish, and the way Vanessa sings jazz is she's like such a pocket singer. Like she swings so hard. I'm less of a pocket singer, and so I don't know. I believe it's my theory that that speaking Brazilian Portuguese has influenced that. And I kind of veered away from your question a little bit, but
No, it's all good.
yeah.
But you know, it's crazy because like Portuguese has got to be, I think it's my favorite language that I don't understand to listen to music in. You know, it just has such a
Yeah.
beautiful flow
Absolutely.
in I think the way you described it earlier was like perfectly on point, and how I hear it, having no idea what's being said. Uh,
It is beautiful.
You know what I think it is, Martina? It's because there's so much rhythm, all like, Brazilian music is just mostly drums, and
Yeah.
as a drummer, I think it wouldn't really make sense for the singer to come on top of that and also be like, like super aggressive rhythmically. So it's like, oh, what's the opposite of that? Someone was like, oh, let's float on top of all of this fucking polyrhythm shit, and it's gonna be amazing. And also, I think Brazilians like they love harder or something. It's like it's something human about it, like that's different culturally in Brazil.
Yeah, I think there's like romance, and yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's part of the culture for sure. I mean, I know, Darrian, you were telling me you spent 2 weeks in São Paulo a few years ago.
Yeah.
And did you find that just talking to people and or walking
Um,
around?
yeah, it was very welcoming,
Yeah.
so much so sometimes it reminded me of being back home in the South where it's like, everybody's your cousin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
So
bro, where you at? What's up?
yeah, exactly. Like, which is like, for me, like my mother's here and we were walking down the street and some guys said hello to us this morning and she was like, and because she's like, it's a whole week and no one said anything to her. I was like, you got to get used to that. Like up here,
Yeah.
people don't really, y'all New Yorkers are kind of, you stay in your own
Cold.
bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that clashes with your culture though, your Brazilian culture.
Yeah.
Is that not true?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. Every time I take a trip there and I come back, I definitely feel rejuvenated, and I feel like I have more love in my heart. It's always a rude awakening coming back to New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York's
Did you
vibe.
travel? Did you travel down there a lot as a kid, or how was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. As a kid, I would go probably like every other summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, man, I love it down there. I might move, Greg. Let's go, man. Pack your bags. So I'm curious to
Let's
know
go. Let's
about
go.
the story, like how you got because you played in a really famous band, Postmodern Jukebox,
Mhm.
and like how does one become famous? I just want to know the cheat codes because you did it.
Well, I don't know that I am personally famous. But yeah, that band is huge. For those of you out there who don't know Postmodern Jukebox, it's led by a pianist named Scott Bradley, and they do jazzy covers of top 40 songs, and they'll often do a cover like, right after, like within a week after, a hit song gets released, and they do it all in one room, film it live, release a single on streaming platforms, the same day. And yeah, it's gotten pretty huge. Scott started releasing weekly videos. I don't know when, probably like 2011 or something. And yeah, there are just millions and millions of fans. So I had the opportunity to tour with them. I started working with them in 2018. I did 2 tours and I did a video with them, and uh, I saw a lot behind the scenes, and it definitely changed my perspective on how I wanted to approach my career
Mm.
Wait. So
afterwards.
how did your perspective change? What was the idea going in, and then how did you leave?
Well, I think first of all, going in, I was I think I wasn't super enthusiastic about it because, I think coming from classical and then being a jazz musician, I had this kind of elitist mindset, and and
We've never dealt with any of that here, just for the record.
so, I the first tour, I remember didn't even know if I wanted to do it, but my husband was going to be on tour at the same time. He's like, just do it, we'll be out at the same time. And I left so incredibly inspired. So when I work with them, a tour has like 5 singers, and then maybe a 5-piece band and you're on a tour bus, there's like another 5 people just in the team. So that was my first time doing a bus tour. And though not every, the band was all jazz musicians, not all a lot of the singers had like a pop background. There were some American Idol alumni, but they were all such incredible musicians, and playing for thousands of people every night, singing songs that they love, and realizing that, when I sing like the White Stripes 7 Nation Army, I sang that every night on both tours. So I probably sung it like 200 times. And when I would, be a jazz musician and explore and alter the melody, I saw the audience react in such an incredible way, because they knew the reference point. They all knew the song and they could hear how I was changing it. And it was just really powerful. And it made me realize that providing access points are really, really important, because I'm hearing a weird echo of myself. Okay, I'll keep going. But yeah, providing access points are really important, because jazz is incredible music. It's very dear to me, and it makes me sad that it is not appreciated by as many people as I think it should be. So it's sort of my mission to, present a cupcake and have, a little more nutrition inside. But yeah.
That's interesting, because I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I think people, maybe they don't like jazz because they don't know. They don't have those access points. They're like, they don't know Darn That Dream, but they know.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we're singing the wrong, and we're playing the wrong music. Like, maybe we should stop playing music from 200 years ago, or really 100 years ago.
I think that
still play some decent stuff too, is what I mean.
I think that's a part of it. Or I think play whatever you want and make it look sparkly. I'm a big proponent of having really, really beautiful and contemporary visuals. I think sometimes, we're so focused on the music, and, we're musicians first, and that's really important. But, a lot of people hear with their eyes, and I think I just think it's so important to have captivating visuals. So
I couldn't agree with you more. When you were talking about access points too, I feel like that's, from my understanding of the way things went down back in the day, like that's kind of why Miles and a lot of people were going to the American Songbook and picking and choosing those tunes. They were famous songs. Coltrane recorded My Favorite Things specifically for that reason. But I totally agree with you, like with the whole making things sparkly and shining and putting on a great presentation. That's like totally what I learned doing, the tour with Bublé, is that people do want to have great quality music, and on some level it's our responsibility to put on a good show for them too. We get a couple lights, put a couple flames, throwing up some confetti, and sing, take 25 courses of giant steps. It'd be great.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. It's like, you can take 25 courses of giant steps if it's pretty enough,
Yeah.
But the presentation is so important, and it's you have to create access points for people to fall in love with the music, and I do agree it's part of our responsibility to do that. And I think sometimes you have these artists like Postmodern Jukebox or Bublé who create serve as these entry or gateway points into jazz. You see a Bublé concert and you're like, oh, maybe I'll check out Ella Fitzgerald or something.
It's true. Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, I cut you off.
To Eric Dolphy.
Great point for us to let our audience kind of hear and have access to your music, and let's see how sparkly you made it. So let's check this one out.
too old to dream. I'll have you to remember. Oh, when I grow too old to dream, your love will live in my heart. So kiss me, my sweet, and so let us part. Oh, when I grow too old to dream, your love will live in my heart. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know, you remind me of myself, you know, when I be singing in the shower. I be like, I get my do a little something like that, and then I sound good like you.
Oh, the
You know what I'm saying?
raspiness.
Yeah, that part. That part.
Yeah, Dan Shimalansky, who's playing bass, he calls it my distortion pedal.
Oh,
um
wow, it's
yeah,
simply amazing.
so that, I mean, that's not even, you know, that's an old song, but Dan and I, well, I'll start by saying we have this project called Shimmy Tina. So we combined our two names. It's a goofy name, but we thought it was funny, and we stuck with it. But that was the second video we made back in 2017. And the project has grown a lot. We've since made an album. We just recorded another record. But yeah, a consideration for both of us. I think we've stayed away from doing pop songs, but you know, we try to choose even jazz standards that have a more universal message. I just think about when I choose a song, it has to be like the words have to be honest. So I wouldn't sing a song that has words I would never say, you know,
I like that.
in real life when I'm speaking. So yeah.
I just want to, while we're here on the record, I want to give it a 10 stars because I listened to the record, this most recent one with Dan, front to back, straight through, which is like, you know, hey, people don't do that no more. I took a walk and I was like, yo, this thing is just, this is crazy. Like, it's so good. And Greg, dig this. There's only 2 solos the whole record, man. I think it's only 2, right?
That's
and
amazing.
and it's like, and it's
I think
so
there's a little more than 2 because we have some. I mean, we have some, like, you know, special guests on it, so they took solos. But yeah, I think Dan, I mean, I think he took only 1 solo on his record. You know, it's yeah.
Are we gonna start a petition
really
for new jazz records to have no solos?
Why not? You know,
sometimes you don't. And Martina, I mean, y'all got to check it out. Check it out.
Thanks so much for listening. Yeah, it means a lot.
So Martina, you were speaking on like picking songs because the lyrics resonate with you, and I was wondering if you had a favorite standard or tune that you like to sing.
Oh, that's so hard to choose.
You can do top 3 if that might be easier.
I mean, oh man, off the top of my head, I guess, and it changes, you know, it changes a lot. I think I'll say songs that resonate with me right now, or you know, that, like, so when Dan and I just made another record, we put Lush Life on there. And that, not that I've been drinking like crazy this last year, because
I was like, damn, oh no.
No, I honestly haven't, but it really, like, that song, I don't sing it all the time because I'm not always in that state of mind, and I really resonated with that song this year. What else did we record? Well, okay, here's we didn't record this, but I Can Dream, Can't I? Do you know this song?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm forgetting who wrote it, but it hasn't been recorded a lot. The Andrews sisters recorded it, but And the lyrics are really beautiful. It's just about unrequited love, which I'm also not experiencing right now. I'm happily married, but yeah, not every song I sing has to be 100% honest to me, but I have to, it's like you're acting, you're putting on someone else's skin when you sing, or at least when I do. So I have to be able to identify with them.
Well, I'm sure it's true at
The
some
lyrics
point
and
in your
sing.
life you've had unrequited
Exactly.
love. We're
Exactly.
human.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely have experiences that I can draw from when I want to sing a song like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I definitely know Greg between 2006 and 2012. I was pretty much a lush, man. I don't know. It was I love that song, man. That's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's a beautiful
you and
song.
Dan came together just like on a whim because of friends to kind of make this thing happen.
Well, no, I mean, so first of all, I know Dan just from the New York scene, and in December, okay, sorry, I was wrong. We recorded that song in 2018. In December 2017, we spent 3 weeks in China with Brian Carter at Jazz at Lincoln Center, Shanghai. And that's when we became friends, really. And that was a really fun trip. And we were there the 3 weeks up until Christmas. So we were doing a lot of Christmas music. So yeah, so that first record that we did was a Christmas album because we'd already worked on a lot of stuff. But yeah, we became friends then. And then when we both came back to New York, I've always been really interested in making videos. Like, to me, like that's always how I've wanted to spend my time. And he was just down to do one. So we thought, oh, this would be cute for Instagram, bass and voice. Like, let's make a 1-minute recording. And the cool thing about it is that Dan is an incredible like producer. So we were able to completely split the responsibilities in making that video. So I had the camera, I did the, color correction, took care of the visuals, curated the outfits, and he mixed and mastered it. And it became really easy to keep putting videos together. So yeah, that's how
And
we
you
started.
have a series. What's it called again?
Oh, okay. So something I've started doing, I don't actually have a name for this series, but I started this in January, just a weekly video series at my apartment. And I invite friends over, and, I record it nicely. I've since upgraded my camera, so it's a little more cinematic. We've got the camera moving around to different people. And yeah, I've been posting videos every week with friends. It's been fun. I've missed the past 2 weeks because I got a little burned out, but I'm I'm making a new video tomorrow. So
Have you been editing and doing all the video stuff yourself?
I do all the editing. And actually, that has been my sort of side job / main hustle this year, video editing. Just started during the pandemic, but I'm technically a professional now. So
Wow.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because I have so many questions. Actually, could we pivot this to do a color correction tutorial? I can't even tell you how many times Darrian and I have been on the phone trying to figure out how to use that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I can give you, I mean, I can give you 2 tips when we get off the phone, but I kind of, I didn't really like study it or learn how to do it properly. I just kind of mess around with levels until it looks good to me. So
Yeah. So over this COVID year, you've been video editing.
yeah. So, and I've been doing and filming too. I've been doing these educational videos for different arts organizations. So
Wow.
it started out with the Louis Armstrong House Museum. My friend Jake Goldbass, excellent drummer, amazing drummer. I know Darrian, you know him.
I
Do you
know Jake. Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know Jake now.
Okay, well, he's amazing. And he, I don't remember the exact title he has at the Louis Armstrong House Museum, but he was coordinating this educational program. at the time. He had 10 different teaching artists that he'd send to schools. And it was like a 10-week program. So I was one of the artists, and I only got to do one before COVID, before, the lockdown. And so he wanted to keep the artists employed and also still have content for all the students. So he had everyone film a lesson in their houses, and he asked me to film one and also edit all the videos for all the artists, which it was awesome that he trusted me to do that. He just based that off of stuff that I've done for myself on my own YouTube channel. And yeah, it was fun. It was a challenge because a lot of people were filming on their phones. The lighting, wasn't always great. So I added all these things to make it more engaging. Like I did a little animation at the beginning, and I end up being a little bit of an overachiever. So I went really crazy with all of the special effects. But so that project ended, and then Jake and I have gotten more projects together, like through with the 92nd Street Y. I did this whole last year. I did videos for this company that works with them called Dance Education Laboratory, and then Queens College, and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I would do. We didn't, I have never told you this, but I got a lot of my inspiration for videos that we made for Second Line from watching your videos.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. The videos are beautiful, man. And so it's like, let me try to emulate some of these things because they're great, and you did a great job as a person who's over here making crazy videos all the time too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, one thing that I don't know if people are aware of though, as an artist, we have to create all of our own content. And so like the skill of video editing is very valuable to us because that's one person you don't have to pay. Can you kind of talk about what that's like being an artist and having to wear 3,526 billion different hats?
Sure. I'll give a little background on my history as a visual artist, which I now kind of consider myself as. I grew up in a family of visual artists. So in some ways it was like my first artistic language. And I completely, I used to paint and make collages and all this stuff. And I completely stopped when I went to college for music because I thought I have to be a serious musician. I can't be doing two things, nothing else. So I dropped that for a long time. And then over recent years, I started to embrace it as I've been doing video editing and realizing, I realized that, wearing colorful outfits and making everything colorful doesn't negate from my musicality. It actually enhances it. So, so when it comes to making videos in my apartment, like the recent videos I've been doing on my YouTube channel, I just have friends over, and I have a great camera that has like a touch screen autofocus. So that way I can hand it to a friend who's nice enough to come over for a few slices of pizza, and they can, walk around and zoom in on different people. And then I edit them myself. So I do the color correction. I've been adding animated titles because I don't know, it's cute. And yeah. Does that answer your question?
Well, I'm trying to like what's it like to have to do those different things,
Okay.
You can't just like edit videos. You gotta you say you curate people's wardrobe. You're a stylist too, you have to do all these different.
So it can be overwhelming. It's definitely a lot of work. There's filming the video only takes a short amount of time, learning a song and filming it, and then way more time gets spent putting all the pieces together at the end. But I have learned to just embrace it because it's another way of it, because it's world building, right? Like I don't like to use the word brand because it feels kind of sterile, but I'm trying to create a full world that people can step into. I still don't think that really answered your question,
Well,
but yeah.
it does. I like the idea of world building, and because in this is it's more inviting. I'm gonna steal that.
World building,
Yeah,
close to branding.
yeah, like step into our world and join us. It's like I like that, and I think you're right. Like we have to do all these things that might potentially burn us out quickly, like you said. But you have to find some inspiration to say, okay, I got to keep world building. I got to keep my juices flowing and keep inviting people in.
Yeah. And when you look at it that way, it can be a really enjoyable process. Like a few years ago, I've always, up until the pandemic, I've always been doing like 5 gigs a week all the time. And a few years ago, I just got sick of making a Facebook post, like I'm playing here, I'm playing here. So I just stopped posting for a month, and I ran into a friend at Smalls, and he said, "Are you still playing music? Like, are you still playing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just haven't felt like posting recently." And that's when I realized it's so important to participate in social media and to post all the time. But it's hard because, we've all had to come to terms with like, how do I, I guess I feel like Instagram, social media in general, rewards unabashed vanity, and it's hard to wrap your head around. So a lot of people just don't want to do it because it feels weird to have to like show off and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I realized what I can do is find a way to promote myself that feels authentic to me. So I started just making a fun collage when I had a gig. And that way the visual was enticing, and I didn't have to write a lot of text because I don't really like, I don't like writing text in any post. So I would just have a cool visual, like some weird collage with my face in it, and say, I'm playing here at this time, link to tickets. So I began to really love making posts because it's a way to show people another another side of your creativity, because I think being an artist is a full approach to life. It's not just the craft and you playing your instrument. It's it's everything. It's the way you live your life, the way you decorate your house. And I obviously it's easier for me coming from a family of visual artists. Like it's not scary for me, but I think it's something everyone can explore. And recently, a friend of mine, he reached out to me. He said, "Do you have any, like, I need a poster made for this gig. Can you recommend like someone to design it?" And I said, "Make it yourself. Like, you don't need to pay anyone for it. Just make it yourself." And he's like, "But like, I'm not a designer. I don't have these skills." And I said, "Find a poster that looks cool to you." I showed him an app that he could, cut things out in. And I'm like, just copy it. It's gonna look different anyway. It's like, transcribing as a musician, you transcribe, but when you play, you're not, it's just
Not the same.
Yeah. You're just learning. So
that's what I did for one of your videos.
What, really? Oh, for the video, right? Sorry, that video transcription. Yeah.
I love what you were saying earlier about, again, like, I guess it's that inner struggle that a lot of us are facing as artists, and especially artists who are looking to really like create art, like especially maybe coming from like a jazz or classical perspective. A lot of times we want to be humble, and we associate being flashy with like a negative thing, and I really appreciate what you were saying about, again, finding a way to advertise, but in a way that's comfortable and honest with yourself. And I think that's an important thing to bring to the table as artists. And so I also was like classically trained, and I'm curious, I don't know, just thinking about this as you're talking, do you feel like part of like that resistance to putting ourselves out there is like coming from that maybe like classical training of being kind of rigid, and like maybe we're told as kids, like, you got to be humble, and maybe if you put yourself out there, that's bad? or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely part of it, and I think the culture of classical music, I think this applies to jazz too, is um well, especially classical, it's like perfectionism, and people, everyone's striving for that, and people can be really judgmental of each
Mhm.
other. And jazz, I mean, I have felt personally traumatized by the way people talk about each other. It's really upset me. And so I think that's one reason. I think everyone's just worried about what everyone else is going to think.
Mm.
And I think another reason is that classical music and jazz music, I mean, they're mainly funded by donors, so
Mm.
they don't really have big audiences. So it's like the fact that you know those jazz and classical are the two genres where you can be a full-time musician and not have any fans. It's so strange. It's so strange, it's like
Oh God,
it's
that
so
is
because
so true.
it's really bizarre because, and then it's like you can play at festivals, you can play at jazz clubs. It's like it's just someone who's choosing you. But a lot of people, like a lot of jazz clubs, like sure, people come out to see the band, but a lot of people come out for just a nice classy experience.
The
Yes,
hang.
they come
And
out for the jazz, not for you.
exactly. And or to impress their date because they don't even like jazz, so it's so there's not as much of a need for that in
Mm.
in jazz and classical music, whereas like in pop, everyone is, everyone depends on fans. It's like you can't quit your day job until you have enough of fans to live off of. So
Right.
I think you brought up a good point, and I really love that point because I think about that a lot. And to me, it's like there's always social cues that we're dropping like to other things. It's like, why, if you have an Apple computer versus, or if you have an iPhone versus a Droid, like that sends a social message. And so it's the same thing. Like if I got front row tickets to Beyonce, that says I'm telling the world something about me, just in the same way that like, I got front row tickets to Smalls. That's like
Right.
telling the world something about me.
right.
And so I think that ultimately as entertainers we're like always trying to make ourselves relevant in that way because no one really cares about the music. Let's be real. Like there's we care about the music, but a lot of times the audience is there purely to, we'll say, peacock is the right word.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Because you do have jazz fans, and the people listening to this podcast, maybe some of y'all are jazz fans, and we love you. And
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah.
I am one of you.
I love jazz, man.
I think this is a great
I'm-
opportunity. Go ahead.
And
Martina.
I just want to say I don't mean to I was being like, I don't want to dismiss the jazz lovers of the world because we're very grateful to you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I am. So I didn't mean to be so dismissive. I'm just comparing the overall audience breakdown to that of other genres. Yeah.
You are telling the truth. So, but we do love the jazz fans, all five of y'all. We love you. Thank you. I was just gonna say, I think this is a good time for us to kind of talk about the different ways we do monetize those five people, and I think that one way that you are doing it, and I've seen other people, more vocalists actually, they use Patreon, and it seems to be very successful. And I think you are also going down that route. No,
I am. So
yeah.
I just made a Patreon page. I haven't done an official launch yet. It's up. I mean, I have the links up on some videos, so I do have some patrons through that, but I will be officially launching in 2 weeks
Hey,
when I get the videos back up. But if you want to join now, that would be awesome. But yeah, Patreon is, yeah, it's just an incredible way to support artists you like, and a lot of artists who, you know, you can have a small but loyal fan base and support yourself that way. So I am trying to go into that direction with my career with videos and not rely as much on live performances.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the COVID-19 has made us all realize that live performances can go away, and then what? For us,
Yeah, and then everyone realizes they didn't spend the time like building that fan base, and
Yeah.
it definitely hit a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can all take those lessons and move forward with them and make things better for us and the next group of jazz kittens.
Yeah. They already
Uh,
seem like
I
they
think
know
they're
what's
good.
up.
I need to hit them up and ask them how to use YouTube.
Martina, we're coming to the end here, and before we leave, I absolutely want to give you an opportunity to tell the people what your YouTube channel is and all the other places they can link with you, where they can buy your merch and become your patron,
Yeah.
Patreon.
I know the name is it's easy to confuse the words. Well, I'll start with Instagram. My Instagram the handle is Marty Das, but if you search Martina DaSilva, you'll find me. YouTube, same thing. Search my name. I'd love it if you could subscribe.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll be going back to my weekly video posts next week. So, and then Patreon, if you go to patreon.com/Martina DaSilva, you can become a patron there, and I would very much appreciate your support. But if you can't, I'm still making the videos. So
they can. Hey, also, all y'all go over there and subscribe and everything to everything she just said. We'll put them in the show notes and make sure you do that and support Martina and all her endeavors. I got one more song of yours I want to play just because I love it. It's Moody's Move for Love.
Oh,
it's one of my favorite songs, and me and Greg, we definitely have had a lot of late nights listening to this. So here we go, Moody's Move for Love.
Okay. There I go, there I go, there I go, there I go. Pretty baby, you are the soul who snaps my control. Such a funny thing, but every time I'm near you, I never can behave. You give me a smile and then I'm wrapped up in your magic. There's music all around me, crazy music, music that keeps calling me so. Very close to you turns me your slave. Come do with me, anything you want to. Anything, baby, just let me get next to you. Am I insane or do I really see heaven in your eyes? Bright as stars that shine up above you in the clear blue skies. How I worry about you, just can't live my life without you, baby, come here. Don't have no fear, whoa, is there a wonder why I'm really feeling in the mood for love? So tell me why, stop to think about this weather, my dear. This little dream might fade away. There I go and talking out of my head again. Oh baby, won't you come and put our two hearts together? That would make me strong and brave. Ooh, when we are one, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. If there's a cloud up above us, go on and let it rain. I'm sure our love together will endure a hurricane. Oh, my baby, ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. That just made me happy, and I hope it made everybody else happy listening to this. Too.
That was killing.
Thank you.
One of my favorite, one of my favorites, y'all. And yeah, y'all got to go check Martina out, man. She's an absolute just beast. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Martina, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you both so much for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. My name is Darrian Douglas.
I'm Gregory Agid.